Let's have a quick look at ECG lead placement. So where will we place the limb leads, or the 3-lead part of the ECG? Now there are two options. One which is using the wrists and ankles. The other is using a torso placement. Now actually, if you look into torso placement, it's actually more beneficial because they can be placed a lot quicker and reduce artifact. I'm going to link a study below so that you can see where I'm getting this information from and have a look into it yourself. So we all love a mnemonic, and this is one to help you remember where to place the leads for your 3-lead ECG. And that is using the mnemonic ride your green bike. So each of those words, if you look at the first letter, that correlates to the lead colour. So R is the red lead, Y yellow lead, G green lead, B black lead. And you start obviously on your right wrist or right clavicle, and you go all the way around clockwise to help you work out which lead goes where. So let's have a quick look at some key anatomy of the chest when it comes to placing your chest leads. So we need to understand where your mid-clavicular line is. So have a look at where the purple line is. And then also the mid-axillary line is also a really important one. And then between the two, you have the anterior axillary line, which is more useful for me in terms of placing posterior leads, which I haven't got into in this one. I'll talk about them when we talk about like the posterior MIs. It's also important to understand where intercostal spaces are. So they are the spaces between the ribs that you feel, because if you stick a dot on top of a bone, you're not going to get a very good reading, if at all. So we want to place them underneath the rib in that space. Now we know the anatomy, let's have a look at where we place these chest leads. So we start with lead 1. Lead 1 is placed in the 4th intercostal space, just right of the sternal border, and lead 2 is the mirror image of that in the 4th intercostal space on the left sternal border. Now we're going to do lead 4 because that has a nice anatomical point that we can use. So that is the 5th intercostal space in the mid-clavicular line, which then means we place lead 3 between where we've placed lead 2 and lead 4. Again, lead 6 has an anatomical point that we can look for, which is the horizontal plane from lead 4 on the left mid-axillar line. And then we place lead 5 between lead 4 and lead 6.